And now back to the morning show.
Hello, we are back. Yeah, we are. And we have Fundemonium in the house.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey there, folks.
Say who you are and what you're all about and all that jazz.
Okay, well, I'm Steve Elliott. My wife, Jean, and I own the toy hobby game store Fundemonium. But as I've said before when I've been on the show, we're more than just a place to shop and go. We want you to stay and play, and we view ourselves as a bit of a community hub where people can come together, experience creative and imaginative fun, and hang out and play and have a good time.
Yeah, and your store's great, man.
Thank you.
I don't know how long have you been there?
We've been in Rohnert Park almost 4 years.
Okay.
Prior to that, we were in Petaluma for 10 years.
Oh, that's right.
And we were part of a national franchise for a while, and then we went independent back in 2013.
Good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went into your store in Petaluma because you were right next door to Trader
exactly,
Joe's.
Yeah, I've been there.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking earlier when we were talking, I was like, I don't know. I went to one toy store. I just didn't remember which one it was.
Yeah. My son and I used to go in to the one next to Trader Joe's, and I just like I said, he'd play the trains.
Yeah.
Come in and play with the little like Thomas the Train sets you guys had out. Now you have a little area. Do you still have that area cordoned off in your shop where the little kids can go? And
part of the reason we moved up to Rohnert Park is we were looking for a space that we could get bigger. We expanded up to 14,000 square feet because we wanted to have more activities in the store, more of that opportunity to hang out and for the community to interact. And when we were in Petaluma, we had one tiny little, about 600 square foot space, and we were turning people away because they'd want to have a game tournament. Sorry, a birthday party's happening at that time, or a club meeting. Sorry, the game players are meeting at that time. So almost half of our store is activity area. So yes, just as you come in the front of the store, we have an area about as big as our entire play area before in Petaluma. And it's fenced off with a little white picket garden fence, and there's Thomas the Train and Melissa and Doug play kitchens and puppets, and so it's an area that parents can come in and play with their kids. There's a fee for, I think it's $9 to go in there, but you have come and go privileges all day for that $9. Come in and play in the morning, go home, take a nap, come back and play some more, go home, have a meal. So. Yeah,
there was the what was it, Jack and Jill's or something on the corner of.
I remember those in Petaluma.
In Petaluma,
just a pure play cafe where moms could hang out, have coffee, and the kids could play. So.
Yeah, that place, and that was about what it was too to go in there, and it was totally worth it. It's totally worth it every time to take your kid there for the day, and they just love it. And not everything has to be big and huge. Speaking of big and huge, segue time. Da-da-da. Toys R Us is closing, and you wrote a pretty amazing article about that.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us about it.
Well, the main thing I reacted to, obviously, I've been following the developments in the toy and hobby industry for quite some time. It's just not Toys R Us. But then when the Toys R Us bankruptcy happened, at first it was like, okay, other businesses have gone into bankruptcy, come back stronger. Nothing's happening there. But then, the total shutdown occurred.
Yeah.
And what I reacted to was all this news coming out from the mainstream media. Boy, that sounds weird to say that.
Yeah.
But I was reading all these news reports, and people were like, "Oh my God, it's the end of toy stores," and all the reporters saying, recounting these childhood experiences of going to Toys R Us and what's going to happen now, and toy industry is going to collapse. And I was like, no, wait a minute. We've got all these great independent toy stores throughout Sonoma County. You've got some great ones right here in Sonoma, and I'm sorry that I won't be able to go visit the Toy Box. It's just down the street from here, but they don't open till I got to get back to my store and open it up.
Yeah.
But there's all these great independent toy stores, and that's the big difference. Toys R Us was based on that big box chain, giant warehouse piled full of toys kind of concept, and it had its place. But the small independent stores are the ones where you actually get into some relationship building. People know you, they know the toys and the products, and they're very keen on being able to explain the benefits of one toy versus another. And they take the time to talk to you when you're shopping and find out what it is that you really need and help you make that perfect purchase. And of course, if you're shopping for a toy, we have plenty of toys that even grown-ups shop for themselves, but if you're shopping for a toy and it's a present, you know, it's for a child in your life. You want to make sure it's good. You want to make sure it's right. You want to make sure the child's going to enjoy it. And that's the kind of experience you don't get online or at the big warehouse stores.
You know, I find it's really important to be able to have your hands on a toy, because you'll see it online and it'll look amazing. It's like the commercials on TV. You're like, oh, that toy is awesome. Yeah. Look at all the cool stuff it does. And then you get it and it was all imaginary, like implied imagination. And that's what it really was. It's just this kid imagining that it does this stuff. Yeah. And it always seemed to be a disappointment once the kid opens the box, because they're all, oh, I thought it did this, you know. Yeah. But when you can go in and touch it and feel it, and you can get a really great idea of what it actually does, and enjoy and decide if that's, you know, the thing for you. And my favorite thing about toys is that my favorite kind of toys are the ones you can build upon. Yeah. You know, like you have the RC car thing. That's cool. You can build an RC car and then go back and modify it and change it and do whatever you want to, you know.
One of our mottos is, if you don't break it once in a while, you're not having enough fun. And we emphasize the fact that that's okay. We can fix it. We can teach you how to fix it. So yeah, we even have an RC car spring break camp coming up. We're going to take a group of kids. They all get a kit, an RC car kit, and our RC expert walks them through over the course of 5 days during spring break to build the car, you know, understand the electronics, the motors, the gearing. They build it, they learn how to maintain it, they learn how to drive it, and they go home with a cool RC car. So now, when they hit the curb or something and break a little piece, they're not going to be upset. They're going to be, oh, yeah, I remember that one. I can fix that, no problem.
Yeah, and you do that through the summer, too, those camps.
Yes, we do, yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally doing it this year. I walked in when I first discovered your store. It was I thought it was in the spring, but you just reminded me it was at the end of the summer, and you had one more of those camps left, and it was starting like the next day. But we were, you know, we were busy that next day, and I was like, oh, I would totally. I wish I would have known. So yeah, we're shouting it out there. This is like the epic camp. It's epic. You get to take the RC car home with you at the end. It's not like you're building it and then you just leave the parts behind. The kid forgets all about it. No, you get to take it home. And those things are, how big are they? They're big.
They're a good 1.5 feet in length. It's what's considered a 10th scale car. In the radio control world, 10th scale is, you know, it's all kind of loose and vague. But yeah, 1.5 feet is probably typical.
Yeah, that's a big RC car. Yeah. And they go fast.
Yeah, the ones that we're building will have a top speed of a little over, 20 miles an hour, almost to 30. And you could easily make them go faster. But it's funny because a lot of kids will be showing them RC cars, and everyone always wants to know, how fast will it go? And I say, well, this one is probably doing about 30 to 35 miles an hour. And the kid kind of casts his eyes down because he's seen highway speed signs.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, gee, that's all? And I say, well, it's a 10th scale car. At 10th scale, 35 miles an hour is like hopping in a real car and doing half the speed of sound down Highway 101. And then their eyes get big and like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fast. Yeah. That's so fast. Kevin, my son Kevin had a remote control car that went really fast, and we brought it to a park one day, and he had a whole crowd of kids following him around and chasing this car. Awesome. They were having so much fun with it. It's definitely something to do. What do you think that I'm going back? I'm kind of going back and forth here, but I'm curious. One of the questions I wanted to ask you is what you think Toys R Us should have done.
Well, I've read a lot of the research and the study on that, and when Toys R Us was founded, I believe the person's name was Charles Laszlo, and he said straight up when he founded the business that he based the toy store on the concept of a grocery store. Aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles filled with toys and lots of choices. And not necessarily a bad idea, especially back then in the 60s and 70s. And one of the consultant blogs that I read, I think he stated it really well. Toys R Us heyday was back when baby boomers like myself, we were starting to have kids, and we remembered Christmas time and our birthday. We didn't get a lot of presents, one cool present for our birthday, a couple at Christmas time. And Toys R Us was this opportunity to take your own kids, and all of a sudden there was just what seemed like an infinite amount of choice. All these toys, and the kids could go in there and pick what they wanted, and there could even be just special celebration trips. But then as time went on, things kind of changed. It wasn't so much about the massive selection of stuff. As other generations, millennials in particular now, are more into the experience. And if you just want massive choice of a whole bunch of stuff, there's no way you're going to beat Amazon or the internet. It's the ultimate vending machine. You just put in your money, click the button, boom. Day or two later, the product drops out of the slot and it's at your doorstep. But if you want the experience of going and interacting with a person who can help you know how to get the best out of your toy, how to maintain it, how to take care of it, what the real benefits are, and in our case especially, being able to come back to the place and hang out and play with other people with similar toys, whether it's model railroading or gaming or something like that, then that's what the independent toy store has, and Toys R Us just completely missed that.
Yeah.
And it didn't help. They had a big leveraged buyout in the early 90s that just overloaded them with debt. So even if they maybe started to understand, and towards the very end, I think last November, they said, yes, we're changing. We're going to be more of an experience-based store and have play areas. And I said, bingo, you got it.
Little bit too late.
Yeah, it's too late, and they just didn't have the money to be able to do that because they were buried under so much debt.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
There's a classic case of one of those venture capitalist buyouts that overloaded a company with debt and it couldn't survive, and then also corporate executives just kind of missing
the mark.
Was
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy about that because I'd prefer to go into a smaller store. I like the experience, and I think a lot of kids like the experience more too, because kids hate shopping. Toys R Us did become more of a shopping thing than it became a experience. Yeah. As my son got older, he didn't even want to go in. Yeah. It was great for toddlers because they walk in, anyone under, I'd say, like 7, they'd walk in and it was like this, their eyes would light up and they'd be like, this is so awesome. Yeah. But then, when you really start spending money when you buy more quality stuff when they get older, and you just kind of lose your I guess audience. Yeah.
And even though you might be spending more at an independent toy store, you're usually getting either better quality product, something somebody's researched and vetted for you, so you're not having to go up and search through Google and YouTube, but then also somebody who's there to support you with it. Yeah. I chuckle a lot of these internet places and some of the big box stores that say, super easy returns, and just bring
they're
it back
never super easy.
And get your money. But yeah, the question I have there is, well, okay, so you spent time trying to figure out what you wanted. You went and got it. Nobody really helped you choose. You got home. It wasn't right, or it broke. Now you have to go back and give it back. Usually there's a period you're hanging online with tech support. And even if the store says, okay, fine, we'll do a refund, now what? You're back to zero, square one. You got your money back, but nothing else. Where the other stores, independent toy stores, will often work with you, figure out the problem, and say, you wanted this toy, something wasn't right. Maybe instead of just throwing it away, we can fix it. Find out what's the matter and make it work for you. So, it's that. Ultimately, I believe working with the smaller independent toy stores, it's more convenient, cheaper down the road, and you end up with a much better experience.
Yeah. So, where you're located is really great in Rohnert Park. What is the store next door to you? I was trying to remember the name of it.
We're right next door to PetSmart, and then Big Lots is one store over.
That's what it is. I just remember.
I love Big Lots.
Yeah, Big Lots, the pet store, and what's the grocery store?
Food Max.
And then there's...
And we have a Chuck E. Cheese in there, too.
And then you're right in the corner there in between all of that. The cool thing is that if you want to take your kids for a day out, like a great day, you want to take them to a movie, especially on a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
You could take your kids, I'd say, to Fundemonium first.
Thank you.
Because when after the movie they're all kind of tired and funky. But you take them to Fundemonium first for a couple of hours, let them chill out, let them play, let them pick out some toys, and then they go to the movie and they get a kind of let that experience sink in while they're in the movies. And when they get out of the movies, they have this awesome toy that they get to play with the rest of the day when you bring them home. It's like the perfect experience for a kid, I think.
Yeah. Rohnert Park in general, it's kind of like the Rohnert Park City manager likes to describe it as the fun zone.
Yeah.
Because right there in a real tight area of Rohnert Park, where I'm located, you have Fundemonium. Right next to us is the movie theaters. There's a cool trampoline place called Rebounders just next the other side of the movie theaters. We've got go-kart racing, driven raceway. We've got a bowling alley, skating rink. So all the adults that keep wanting to go to Sonoma for wine tasting, you can come to Rohnert Park, and it's kind of like play tasting.
Yeah,
you can
it's true.
go around the city and try all these fun, cool things to play. So.
Yeah.
Are there any escape rooms in Rohnert Park?
Yes. Yeah, there's one that just recently opened. It's called Read Between the Lines. And I haven't had a chance to go meet with the owner there, but it's an escape room that...
I've heard those are popular.
Okay, wait. What is an escape room? I've never heard of it.
So you go and you're like put in a room with friends if you want, or just yourself if you're strange, I guess. And you have to, like, if from what I've told is correct, you like look around and find clues, and you have to like get out of the room using the clues and like what's present in the room.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I think it's timed. You're supposed to do it in an hour, and then they're posting on their Facebook page, so-and-so got out, or this group got out in 24 minutes, new record. So
wow.
It's kind of a neat thing, yeah.
One of my favorite games, my favorite apps is called The Room. Have you ever played that?
I haven't.
Oh, it's epic. It's so good. It's like reading a book. Yeah, you have to solve all these puzzles and figure it out, and there's no instructions at all. You're just... There's a box in a room, and you're like, what do I do with this box? And you have to poke at it, and you look around the room, and you're like, what am I supposed to do in here?
Yeah, that's
cool.
kind of the way an escape room works, because I believe the current escape or current challenge in Read Between the Lines is there's a lost stuffed animal, teddy bear, and you have to find it before you can get out of the room. But you don't know. You start out with one clue, and one clue leads to the next, and that clue leads to a third, and so you don't know all the clues unless you successively go through the puzzle and solve them. So that's a really cool thing.
That sounds really great.
And then after you escape, you come to Fundemonium and try.
Yeah, I want to find a gift card to Fundemonium in the escape room.
Oh, there's a good idea.
Yeah, send them on over. Okay, I just have to say it one more time before we go on break. You guys are amazing. My favorite place, and it was, I loved going to the one in Petaluma. I'm glad that, I was like, oh, it's gone. I didn't know you guys were the same. Now I know why I like you so much.
That's been the challenge for us. We moved. It didn't seem that far away, but it's been a big challenge kind of getting the word out again. In Petaluma, we had our own 2 kids growing up as we opened the store, so that was like 2 children are the ultimate marketing tool. And now our kids are all grown up and out of the house, and Gene didn't want to have more kids just to promote the store, so we have to figure out a new way.
People have had kids for worse reasons, I think.
Do you sponsor baseball teams or anything?
We did sponsor a Cal Ripken team before. One of our big things is help schools and youth groups do fundraisers. So we do things like a shop and support night where we'll do a donation back to the school based on people, sales, percentage of sales. We do a gift certificate program, which is a really great way for groups to raise money.
Oh, I need to talk to you.
Please do.
I have a school that's in need.
We'd love to help.
He knows the school well. He went there.
Okay, I remember.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break once again. Tell us where you're at. And
it's Fundemonium, 579 Rohnert Park Expressway West. The west is important. There's an abandoned insurance building on the east, so make sure you plug west into your GPS. But 579 Rohnert Park Expressway West in Rohnert Park.
Yeah, so you have to pass Target.
Yes.
If you don't pass Target, you're going the wrong way.
That's right.
All right. Thanks for coming in. All right. And we are back. Yeah, that was awesome. So very awesome. I'm trying to, all our schools are trying to raise money right now. I think I'd like to mention that to the world. We just had Fundemonium on, and I would love to have, that would be a fantastic place for any schools to go to try and raise some money. So definitely contact Fundemonium. It's www.fundemoniumtoys.com. And you can find them on Facebook too. Yeah. I can bring you back up if you want to hang out for a little while.
That'll help too.
Yeah. Today's kind of a thin day. We're not having, I have we had 4 guests. Usually we have 5 guests on our show. So, but today we just, taking it easy. I'm glad you were able to come on because I saw your email. You do email the radio station every once in a while with your events. And do you know, have you ever heard of LARPing?
Yes. Yeah, live action role playing.
Yeah. Do you ever do anything with that?
We haven't had anything in the store. From time to time, I've sponsored a hobby expo, and the LARP players have come to be there at the hobby expo. Usually it's better if they have more room than what we would have in the store. But
yeah, you kind of have to have a lot of room for that.
Yeah.
How do you do a birthday party there?
Well, we have a number of different birthday parties. Just about anything in the store we can turn into a birthday party. Our long-running 2 most popular ones are a radio control birthday party, and we have an indoor RC car racing track. And so the kids come and we teach them how to drive the RC cars, and then depending upon the age and the interests of the kids, it's an hour of racing, and it can either be taking turns on just free-form driving, crashing, jumping, or we can do more structured lap count races or relay races. We'll divide the kids up into teams, and then each team has to drive a lap and pass the controller to the next person who drives a lap.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
So we can mix it up and do different fun things there. Or a Lego party is also one of our most popular parties.
That's awesome.
So that's an hour of playing with Legos. And again, we'll try and structure it based upon the interests of the kids. We talk to the parents in advance, so it can be kind of engineering based, who can make the longest bridge or the tallest tower, and either do it individual or team. Sometimes we'll do a mini contest where the kids in the party, they're told to build the coolest dragon, and then everybody gets to vote. And they can't vote for themselves; they have to vote for someone else in the party, and then there's first, second, and third place. So
nice.
And of course, you can do traditional birthday party games with Legos. Carry a spoonful of Legos from one table to the other. Drop the Legos in the milk carton. That kind of thing.
That's a great baby shower game. You usually use an egg for that one, I think.
Yeah, Legos are not quite so messy.
Yeah.
But they hurt more when you step on them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They actually have at Legoland a whole mural of a dad stepping on Legos going, and the kids sitting there, and there's Legos all over the floor.
There's a good joke I heard once that starts out, well, there's scientific research that if you cry primarily out of your left eye, most of the tears are flowing from the left. You're crying out of intense emotion. If you cry out of your right eye, you're crying mostly out of anger. But if you cry out of both eyes, you stepped on a Lego.
Yeah, it hurts, man. My kid has so many Legos.
I used to.
So at Costco, they sell those kind of 3-inch tall tubs that are a little over a foot wide, square. He has a tower of those.
Wow.
Of Legos.
Awesome.
A tower. It's 4 feet tall.
Yeah, I had a bin probably I guess this doesn't mean anything to the viewers. Probably 2 by 1.5 by 1.5 or something feet. Not inches.
Okay.
That's a lot of one Lego.
Yeah. He had one Lego in that box.
Okay.
No, yeah, I had a whole bunch, and I would always Usually it was that I would get the big sets, usually Star Wars, and then I would just make it once, destroy it, and then make my own stuff for the next few years.
That's cool.
And,
I keep all of the maps. I call them maps. I guess I don't know what they're called.
Instructional booklets.
Instruction. Well, maps are it's easier to say, but we have one of those tubs is full of maps, so much so that I can barely close it.
Oh boy.
And what I'd like to see Lego do is unify the size of those maps.
Yeah.
You know, if everything was the same size, then they could sell like a folder or something.
That'd be cool.
You know, like baseball cards. You know, not that you want to have the Lego maps to be the size of the baseball card, but baseball cards are all pretty uniform. They're all pretty much the same. You can go and buy the sleeves, and you know they're going to fit in them. Sort of like that. Like you have the sleeves for the booklets so that you can just, you know.
A uniform size, so it's easier to save them and bring them back and do it again.
Yeah. See, well, I think they probably have 5 different sizes, so they probably should buy. Like there's the ones that are kind of long and they kind of fold in half, and then there's the little tiny guys. And come on, Lego, step up. Let's make some kind of folder or something for us to put those in.
Yeah, there you go.
And also a very big plate would be cool. Because what's the biggest plate size? 16 by 16?
They go bigger than that. In fact, we have one. It's maybe only about a foot to 18 inches wide, but it's 36 inches long.
Oh, wow. Where do you find those? At your store?
At Fundemonium, of course, yes. That's made by an aftermarket company. I think it's, if I remember right, it's a Melissa and Doug board.
Oh, is
so
it?
On one side, it has the really big studs that are the little kid Duplo blocks.
Yeah.
And on the other side, it has the smaller studs or pegs that fit the standard Lego.
Man, I'm telling you, if Lego made those, I'd be all over it. You know, I worry about aftermarket ones because I think that they don't quite fit. Like it does.
Some brands do a better job than others making the pegs fit.
But the Melissa and Doug one's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you guys have it, or you can get it for something.
All
right, yeah.
Or you can always take multiple plates and stick them together. In fact, at Fundemonium in the kids' play area, we have a Lego wall where we took about a dozen of those, 18-inch by 18-inch plates and screwed and glued them to the wall and edge to edge together so that the kids could stick Legos on the wall and make designs, and a lot of times they spell out their name or something like that. So it wouldn't have to be on the wall. You could just connect them together.
I want to do that in the wall in my living room, like the whole wall, like
that would be awesome,
right? Yeah. And then I want to put my TV on Legos, like the back of my TV, so I can move my TV around the Lego wall.
You're gonna need some like high tensile glue that also it's like, I guess, the strongest Velcro to the back of it or something.
No, man, you just Lego it. You know, you can make Legos. You can make Legos strong enough for that, and then you can make them at an angle. So if you want your TV to be angled, you just add more Legos to one side of the TV and just stick it back on the wall. It can be anywhere, you know.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
I just invented something.
There, yeah. In fact, you can look up online lots of examples of people making practical things out of Legos.
Oh, yeah.
Desk accessories, kitchen utensil holders, all sorts of things.
Clocks.
Lego tables, clocks,
Yeah. Oh, I could make a whole table with what my kid has. He's actually asking for a table. I'm going to tell him to build it.
There you go. Build your own Lego table.
Yeah, he's like, I want a table so I can make a YouTube channel. I'm like, well, there's your Lego stack. Go build a table.
Be unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look out, IKEA. Lego's coming after the furniture market.
That would be actually pretty cool to have a Lego chair and furniture. You put some cushions on it.
Aren't they both Swedish, though?
I think
I'm not
so.
sure.
Or no, are Legos...
Oh, are we gonna have to?
Please look this
Google.
up. Absolutely not letting this go through.
Yeah, you know, why not?
Definitely Scandinavian though.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay.
Most cool engineering inspired things are Scandinavian.
Lego.
Yeah.
What,
the founder
how
of
should I ask
Lego
that
was
question?
originally a woodworker.
Oh.
And was not doing well making wooden furniture.
Yeah.
So then he shifted over to making wooden toys and started having more success with that. And then some salesman came along with a plastic injection molding machine.
Ooh.
And he's like, well, what the heck could I do with this? And
Yeah.
next thing you know, there's the Lego bricks. So.
You know, and I watched a doc on Legos, and they were having issues for a while. They're like, they were getting ready to go under for a while. I think it was like in the late 80s.
I can't imagine.
And well, because all they had were the little bricks.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't really, they had people, but it wasn't like they had all these really cool maps and stuff.
Yeah.
You pretty much just bought the bricks and you made what you wanted with the bricks.
Yeah.
But they started doing that. They had some new CEO come in, and then they started making these cool sets, and then they just took off from there, like insane. Okay, I'm trying.
What country?
I'm looking. Legos. Hey, Wikipedia is a good place to go for that, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
The place.
Yeah, somebody's gonna write where
You hear
it's
that,
from
college
on
professors?
Wiki, on the wiki.
Wikipedia is a reliable source.
It can be.
The whole professors feeling paranoid about it having things like that's better now. They're much better about having real information there. You can't really do the joke editing as much.
What is real anyway?
Well, then, yeah, you could write your essay about that.
You know, people are going to decide why is this? Okay, they're telling me about Legos, which is it's a
Greek word
Greek
for something.
person. Ancient Greek philosophers used
I'll
the
look it
term
up.
in different ways.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. Yeah, you look it up because I'm not having any luck on Wikipedia.
I got it.
There's another perfect example. All the choice in the world, but finding the one that you need is very difficult.
Yeah.
So,
and America is an American digital cable satellite television, Lego TV. And they don't even give me a picture of Lego. Go ahead.
What a fascinating segment.
Oh, I know.
Thank
I
you,
know
everyone,
what
for
I did.
listening. Denmark.
Denmark.
Oh.
Woo! It's somewhere out there.
God, if I knew that.
It's your geography lesson for the day.
I did say it was Scandinavian, but I should have known it was Denmark.
Why? Why should you have known that?
Just that I don't know. I have really specific, intense like memory for things that don't matter. So
Yeah. Wealth of useless knowledge.
Yes, absolutely.
Got it.
Well, anyway,
it's 9:55. It's raining outside. We're going to say the weather.
Yeah.
So that's the weather.
I've got to get back to Fundemonium before the roads flood.
Yeah. So thank you so
thanks
much
for letting me
coming
hang out
on.
a little longer.
Yeah, it was awesome. We like to just kind of talk. I love it when Brian comes in too because we talk about Brian from Brian's Comics.
Oh, Brian's Comics. Yes,
yeah,
right.
you guys have to know each other. I just think you should have to know each other because
we talked a lot when we were also in Petaluma. And actually at one time as he was getting started we had investigated with him maybe doing a little pop-up store inside our store.
Oh yeah.
But, shortly after that he found his great place in Petaluma and opened. So
yeah, I remember the first time I went in your store I was thinking, why aren't there comics in here?
We tried comics. There was a comic book store in Rohnert Park, so we didn't really want to pour it in on them. But then they closed up, so we gave it a try. But it's tough.
That's a tough business.
Market.
Yeah.
And so we just didn't quite have the, maybe didn't have the expertise, maybe didn't have the market. So you look at Brian's doing well. So
oh yeah, Brian's doing. He should still
it's
have
not
a
luck.
pop up in your place.
He's working hard to make that happen.
Yeah. Have a little comic book day. It's free comic book day on May 8th.
Oh, cool.
5th, May 5th. Yeah, so
and he's a big supporter of the Petaluma LumaCon, which is a comic book kind of literacy based festival. And I think that was just about a month ago.
Yeah, you guys could do that. LumaCon? You
Yeah,
could definitely, because they have people playing games and card games and stuff like that there. It's something cool to do.
Yeah.